Hey G-Squad, welcome back to episode of Is It Worth It? So today's episode we got this cool right here, and hence what this is a portable power bank. So right here we do have two of them from the same exact brand. This one here is the older version, which is the 737 power bank that's power core 24K. So you guys have 24,000 milliamp on here for you guys to use. Where for this new one right here, it should be like 27,650 mAh, but the power on here is slightly more powerful in terms of what you guys do get, because this one right here is 250 watts. And this one right here, I believe is less than that. The max on here is 140 in terms of what you guys do get. Where for this one right here, even though it is 250 watts max, if you guys were to plug in two things at the same time, one of them will be 140 watts max and the other one will be like 100 something. And if you guys only plug in one at a time, you do have the option to go up to 140 watts as well. And in terms of the input option, when you guys use both of them, the new one right here also probably got up to 140 watts, where for the old one that is not. But in terms of the design, you can see how the new one definitely looks a little bit more cooler and a lot more futuristic. When you guys do look at the size difference, the new one is definitely a little bit bigger. Not by a lot, but just like very little, you can see. And in terms of what you guys do get on the screen is very similar. Both of them give you guys the display to show you guys like the battery percentage on here, how long it takes to recharge it, and also how much power that's being generated when you guys use it. And on both sides on the side, they do have the option for the button for you to press. That way you can change the different setting on here when you guys do use it. To show you guys like the battery health, to show you guys like the auto off option for the screen option, and so much more. The cool thing about the new one here is the fact that you do have the option to connect it onto the app, so that we can see what's on there as well, which I'll show you in a second. But just to show you guys a 360 point of view, here is the front, here is the side, here is the back, here is the side, and then here is the top. So you can see how both of them give you guys two USB-C option and one USB. And if you guys do look at the bottom here, the old one right here does not give you guys a wireless charging option, where for the new one here it does. So you do have the option to purchase the charging base separately to actually use it if you guys want to, which is really awesome. I'll show you guys how to use it in multiple videos, but I'll show you guys that as well in a second. What I'm doing right now is to show you guys what actually looks like on the app for this one when you guys do use it. So the app that you guys want to download is called Anchor app. If you guys don't have it already, make sure to download that first. But what I'm doing right now is open it up to show you guys what it actually looks like. So once you guys open the app, this is what the app looks like. So I'll show you guys the input, output, and everything on here. Show you guys the battery percentage and etc. So very cool how this one gives you guys the option to look at the display on here to show you guys like the battery percentage, how much power is on here, and etc. Where the old one right here does not give you guys the option, so keep that in mind. One right now is a plug-in cable to show you guys how much power it does provide for each one of them when you guys plug it in directly. But before I do, I want to show you guys something on top. So notice how both of them give you guys two USB-C option for the actual charger. But for the bottom right here, only one of them works as an input and output, and other one only works as the output. Where for the new one right here, both of them works as an input and output, which is a lot more convenient. So far when you guys compare both of them, the new one definitely has a lot more functionality and a better design. But now let's plug in cable to test out both of them. So we're gonna start with the old one here first. So what I'm gonna do is plug it into the top one here, the first one, because the other one only works as output. So once you guys plug it in, if you guys do look right here, it shows you guys the battery percentage, how long it takes to charge it, and how much input is being provided when you guys use it. So right now they mentioned how it's 21%, and it'll take around 33 minutes to recharge it. When you guys do look at how much power that's being generated on here, it goes up to 124.8 watts. So definitely still probably has a lot of power on here, but not as much as the other one that I'm going to show you guys in a second. But this is what the screen looks like when you guys do that. You can see, definitely charges pretty fast for what you guys do get. And now it's at 125.3. So I think eventually it probably will go a little bit higher when you guys use it. But as of right now, it only goes to like 125 when we do look at it. But now I'm actually unplug it and do the same thing for this one to show you guys how much power that it does provide for this one here. So I do plug it in. Feel free to plug it into either one of them. It doesn't matter. Once you guys plug it in, right here I show you guys how much power that's being generated on here, how long it takes to recharge it, and what's the battery percentage. So right now it's around 33% or 32%. And like I mentioned on the app, it shows you guys on here as well. So that we can see it on here, or you can also look in the app, which is really convenient. But when you guys do look at how much power that's being generated on here, it definitely requires a lot more for the input option. Right now it's at 139.5 watts, you can see. And I just love the display on the app because it shows you guys everything on here directly, which is really awesome. Or you can also look here as well. It shows you guys the same specs. So right now it's at 34%, and it'll probably take around 30 minutes to recharge it, but it is charging at a 139.5 watt speed, which is a lot of power, you can see. So when you guys compare the input option on here, definitely the new one provides you guys a lot more power. because it does go up to 139.5 watts. And this one is around like 125 watts. What I'm gonna do right now is to show you guys the charging base for this one here because you don't have the option for this one. Alright, so right here we do have the charging base that's sold separately if you guys are interested. You do have the option to use it as a charging base like I mentioned before to actually put any of like the prime power bank on top to recharge it wireless. Or you can also use the USB-C option here and the USB option at the same time. Just keep in mind the max power on here, it is 100 watts. So like I mentioned for this one, it can go up to 140 watts. But when you guys use the wire charging option on here, the max is 100. So it's kind of bummer how they did not set this or make this go up to 140 watts when you guys use it, because this one can support 140 watts. But if you guys do put it on top, it sticks on. And when you guys do look at how much power that is provided on here, it should go up to 100 watts when you guys do use that. But notice how on the display on here for the app, it show you guys how it's on a charging base, and it show you guys separately on here of how much power is being provided when you guys use that. So right now charging at a 98.9 watts, and it's going up and down when you guys do use that. So still probably guys a lot of power using the wire charging base, but not as much as using the input option directly for the cable option, if you see. So very nice how the new one actually gives you guys the option, whereas the old one does not. But now let's do the next test, which is to use it as an output option and show you guys how much power it does provide when you guys use that. I think I'm gonna test out the old one first to show you guys how much power on there compared to the new one here. So for the first cable, we'll plug it into my MacBook Pro that we have right here. And the other side, we'll plug it into the actual power bank here. So once you guys plug it in, you can see how much power that's being generated on here, and it kind of resets. So in order for you guys to get the max power on here, it depends on your battery percentage. If your battery percentage on your laptop is really low, then it'll charge to the max speed. But if your laptop is around like 80% or 90%, it will not charge as fast. Like right now, it's providing around 111 watts when you guys do use it, but it should go higher when you guys use it. Because right now I don't have anything running in the background, that's why it's kind of low. Let me try to run something in the background and see what happens when we do use it. So I'm just gonna open up my laptop and let's try to run some stuff in the background on here. So once I turn it on, you can see how the number on here went up already, even before I ran anything in the background. Like right now, it goes high as 140 already when you guys look at the number on here. So definitely probably got a lot of power on here when you guys do use it, you can see. So if you guys are not running anything in the background, it probably will not go as high as 140 watts. And my battery percentage right now is 2%. So that's why it's charging so fast when we do use it. Now I'm actually trying to plug two laptops at the same time and see what happens, because I want to compare the difference on here versus the other one to show you guys how powerful it is for the new one. So for the other cable, I'm gonna plug it into my MacBook Air. And I think the battery percentage right now for MacBook Air is completely dead as well. Yep, so it's completely dead. But if you guys do plug it in, once you guys plug in both of them right here, you can see right here, show you guys how much power that does provide when you guys do use it. So right now it's providing around 70 watts for the MacBook Pro and then 70 watts for the MacBook Air. So the power on here is split between both of them because the max power on here is 140 watts. So keep that in mind when you guys do use that. So definitely still probably has a lot of power, but not as much as the one that I'm about to show you guys now. So let's unplug both of them. And now let's plug it into this one right here to show you guys how much power in that one as well. So the first one right here, we'll plug in here. Give it a few seconds kind of load up. If you guys do look at how much power that's being generated on here, currently it's at 122 watts. But when you guys are running stuff in the background, it'll go a little bit higher. So I should run a few things in the background and see what happens. All right. So now I'm running a few things in the background. If you guys do look at the power on here, it went a lot higher. So this one also goes as high as 140 watts when you guys use stuff in the background to run stuff to really drain the battery on here and give you guys the full potential of the power bank. So you can see right there. Now I'm actually plug the other laptop with the MacBook Air on here and see what happens. So now we do have both of them plugged in at the same time. Let me get my phone to show you guys what it looks like. That way it's a lot easier for you guys to see because it's a little bit harder for you guys to see on here. You can see how much power it does provide when you guys use both of them at the same time. So currently it goes as high as 136 watts when you guys do look at it for the MacBook Pro. And then the MacBook Air is around 64 watts. So same thing applies to both the laptop when you guys use it. The more stuff that's running in the background and also your battery percentage, if it's pretty low, it does probably have a lot more power when you guys use it. So keep that in mind. But we see how much power it does provide when you guys use both of them at the same time. Definitely a lot more power than the other one when you guys use it. Because even for one of the output, using the USB-C option for a MacBook Pro, right now it's providing around 122 watts already. and the MacBook Air is still charging at 64 watts for the total output right here in the bottom, which is around 186 watts. And it'll probably go even higher when you guys are running more stuff in the background. Let me try to change it on the background and see what happens if we run some more stuff. You can see how the number on here definitely fluctuates when you guys run stuff in the background. So the max output on here when you guys use it is 250 watts like I mentioned, so keep that in mind. So you can see how when you guys do test out both of these right here, this one definitely provides a lot more power than the other one. And this one also gives you guys 3000 more mAh on here compared to the other one as well, which is pretty awesome. So now that we show you guys how well it does work for both of them and what you guys do get, now to answer the question of whether or not it's worth or not and which one's a better option to go for. So when you compare both of these right here, you can definitely see the difference for both of them. The new one definitely provides you guys slightly more power and also give you guys a lot more options available on here in terms of the app option, the wireless charging option, 3000 more milliamp option on here, and provides a lot more power on here when you guys charge two devices at the same time or even just one, because this one is 140 watts max and this one is 250 watts max. And also, like I mentioned, for the USB-C option, allow you guys to use as input and output for both of them, and this one only one. So you guys can't really go wrong with either one of these, but if you guys want my honest opinion in terms of which one's the better option to go for, it's very obvious that this is a better option to go for because it does provide a lot more power and you guys do get a lot more stuff on this one compared to this one. But obviously for those of you guys who don't want or don't need one or having one of these, obviously don't buy one and save your money something else actually do need. So that's basically everything for this video itself. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button in the bottom. That will definitely help this video out and it will definitely help with the algorithm as well to promote more videos for you guys so you guys can see more of the videos or similar videos as well. But as always, make sure to stay positive, be you, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Is It Worth It? Peace.